So welcome, good afternoon, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me. As much as I would love to reach out and hug every one of you, I am pleased that so many more of us could attend this through this format. Thank you so much to Janet and Mike Moskowitz and Ronnie Connell and Libby Hamper and Alyssa Baker, and Wendy Baumgartner for making this event possible. I certainly couldn't have done it without their help. I also need to express my thanks and appreciation to my husband, Johnny, and to Doctors Matt Fricky, Mary Arpaia, and also to Marie and to Pam for their friendship and support over many years and for sharing my vision and my values. This celebration is centered primarily around me, but what it's really about is Mackenzie Animal Hospital, our clients, our patients, and most importantly, our team that together created and sustained a legacy of excellence. You'll get to know me more personally and a little bit more about my journey through this presentation. So let's get started.
Play from start. Right. Okay.
So we're going to take you through some of the photos that I pulled out of my archives, starting back when I was a little one. I'm the one on the left. My sister Jo is on the right. This is when we lived in Florida and moved to Taunton, my hometown in Massachusetts, when I was about 4. My father actually was a photographer, and some of these photos were taken obviously when we were little. We didn't have digital photos then. This is my sister Jo and me when we were in grade school. And this person is my mother, Mildred Henry DeWees Rogers, who is no longer with us, but responsible for all of my success. She established the Taunton telephone answering service in Taunton, Massachusetts, after she graduated from nursing school at Simmons College, but she could not earn much money, and she knew she wanted to get my sister and me through college. So she established the telephone answering service so that she could try to develop some type of income for us to go to college. This is me graduation from 8th grade Mulcahy School. Very determined. In 1959, my mother married Milton Rogers, who was a Yankee farmer. He was 23 years older than her, and it was a change in my life. I had been a city girl until then. I hated it. I loved animals, and we moved to his farm, which was 65 acres, and he raised Hereford cattle and pulled Rhode Island red hens. This was taken many years later with me and my mom here in town as she aged. Now I look more like her now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is graduation from my BS degree in animal husbandry at Michigan State in 1967. This was a picture taken just before graduation from veterinary school, and this actually is me here in the clinic after graduation. So a little out of order, but that's okay. This is a passport photo that was taken because I did a little traveling for the Wild West Veterinary Conference, and that's all I say. So this is a picture of me washing one of my cows for the 4-H fair. Because of the cattle and the farm, we were able to get into 4-H. I was in 4-H for 8 years. And of course, we had to get our cattle all pretty and ready for the show. This is a steer. His name was Amarillo Citron. Both of those words are for yellow. He was quite yellow. He didn't look yellow in this picture, but he was very light red. And he was my show steer that I took up to the New England exposition. And this is Milty, my stepdad, and me. I'm riding Blossom. She wasn't my horse. We were never allowed to have horses, which was a real sadness. But I was able to ride this little girl, and this is her name's Blossom.
Beautiful.
And when we went to college, I was in animal husbandry for 4 years, and one of our side activities was the Block and Bridle Club. And I was able to show this cow in the Block and Bridle Club. And as you can see, back in the early 60s, we ran around with our hair in rollers. So there I am, washing that cow with my hair in rollers. There's another picture of me showing cattle a long time ago. This was a sheep that I fitted for the Block and Bridle competition at school, again, about 1965, 66. I was first, of course. This picture is a little out of order, but this was, if you can look at the paper that I'm holding, I was packing our car back in Massachusetts. My stepdad was going to drive me to Michigan State in Lansing for my beginning of my college career. Oh, and this is just a little newspaper clipping that my mom clipped out and stuck in my notebook. And that's when I graduated as a senior and majoring in animal husbandry. I got some kind of an outstanding award for something. I don't remember what. This is Shammy. The Shammy is the one whose picture is behind me as we sit here. He was my first Basenji. Always wanted Basenjis my whole life. I never could afford one. When I was a little girl, I saw a movie called Goodbye, My Lady. And in that movie, this little boy found this lost dog in the woods, and it was a Basenji. And after that, I always wanted a Basenji. And this is the first rescue Basenji that I ever had. This is a picture that was taken because the animal husbandry department needed to put up on their wall a photograph of their top students that came out of the international judging competition at the Little International in Chicago. And I think I was, I can't remember, somewhere in the top 10, I think 7th. And as you can see, that horrible hairdo. My hair was teased and plastered, and that's the way we wore it. This is Shammy. When I first came to Oregon, I ran into a friend who had another little Basenji, and this was taken at his house. And he asked me if we could use Shammy for stud, and this was his first little litter. And then after graduating from my bachelor's degree, I went into work on my master's degree in poultry science and hung around the university for another year or two trying to get my grades up and get prepared to apply to veterinary school. And I was fortunate enough to be admitted into the class of March of 1969. And they had changed the university's the veterinary school to go year round, no summers off. So our school, which was a 4-year program, was condensed into 2 years and 9 months, which meant we went year round, and we even took classes during finals week. So we had 11-week terms with no break, except for the in-between term breaks. But for me, I'd already been at school for almost 6 years, and I was delighted to be able to get through in a shorter amount of time. So I was graduated from veterinary school in December of 1971. And there she is. This is Johnny. Johnny and I were visiting somewhere. If anybody who's watching these pictures has any idea where this was taken, I'd like to know. I have no idea, but obviously we were very much younger then. We looked and searched all around, and we found no pictures from my mobile veterinary clinic. I started my house call practice in December of 74 to January 1975. And I had a custom clinic made to carry around on my pickup truck. And I did a mobile veterinary practice until we established the Mackenzie Animal Hospital. And this is the only picture that survived, me filling it up full of gas. We bought this property in Springfield as a parcel because of my mother, who had just who had paid off her mortgage to her farm, and she was out of debt. And my mother went through the Depression, as many people did in her era. They did not want to ever owe any money on their farm or their house because it was security. And we went back to visit my mom, and Johnny and I and she were talking, and Johnny brought up to her that my future was the only way that she and I could really look forward to any type of income or any kind of security, and that we needed to buy this piece of property and consider building a practice. Because when I did my mobile practice, there was an emergency clinic, and we were on call 24 hours a day. So we would go home, go to bed, and the phone would ring, and I'd have to get up and go to somebody's place to take care of their animals. And this was happening with all the veterinarians in the community. Everybody had to get up and go out in the middle of the night. Anyway, my mother then volunteered to remortgage her farm so that we could have the cash to buy this piece of property. And actually, if you look at in the picture, that yellow and white canopy is on top of my mobile clinic, and you can see the air conditioner. So that's the only second picture of my mobile clinic. So we bought the property, and then we drew up the plans, and we got Frank Blaine to be our builder, and Johnny was able to work on the project. And we were able to get an SBA loan based on Johnny's work and efforts at creating a package that was acceptable to the SBA. So with that loan, and when my mother putting up the money for us to buy the property, we were able to establish the clinic. Now this picture is kind of interesting because what it shows is I was terrified, literally terrified, that if we ever had an animal from a client's car get out and get loose in the parking lot, that they would shoot across the road and get killed on Main Street. I was literally terrified that that would happen. So one of the first things that I required my builders to do was to take all the dirt that they excavated out of the parking lot and make a barrier to the street. I also insisted that my curb cut be on 53rd Street instead of Main Street, again, so the animals would not have a pathway to the, and I can tell you in 48 years, we've never had an animal run out and get hit and killed on Main Street. So this picture is another interesting picture in that this is natural cedar with natural coloring. It had some copper tone stain, but it was natural. And this to me was beautiful back in those days. I thought it was very, very warm and very pretty. And one day, several years later, I went off to vacation to go see my mother, I think. And the clinic needed to have the woodwork preserved. And whoever did it changed it to a dark brown. And I came home and my beautiful clinic had become dark brown. So that's just one of my little sad stories along the way. But the inside was done. The cabinets were all custom built. A lot of the equipment that we put into this building, we purchased in a sale in Roseburg. Johnny and I went to a sale of a hospital that was being taken down. Hold on to this one. Mm-hmm. And we spent 12 hours wandering around with the auction, bidding on items. And many of those items were stored at our farm for years and waiting for the day that we could put them in. The shelf that you see under the pass-through costs $5. The table that's off to the left that you can barely see, which was an overbed table, solid stainless steel, I think that cost $35. We were able to buy our scrub sink for $25 and on and on. And some of this stuff we never could have been able to put in if we hadn't been that frugal. This is a dark room back when we used chemicals to process films. We were at the leading technology because we had an automatic film processor. This is a radiograph machine. And this is we had an incident. Pat Rollins used to head up the Friends of the Ducks and Geese at the University of Oregon. And she was instrumental in getting that area cleaned up and those animals taken care of. But right about that time, there was an oil spill out at the coast somewhere, and there were a whole bunch of geese that came in just completely covered with oil. So Mackenzie Animal Clinic, this is Dee, there you go, Dee. We worked very, very hard to remove the oil and grease from those geese and get them back into the wild. This is Linda Albee on the left. Linda, hello. This is Bob Nadell. Bob, I believe, was my first veterinarian that I hired out of vet school. He was from Washington State. That was back in, I think, 82. And so for 4 years, when I opened the practice, I had no assistant, it was just me. And one of my very first clients, who's sitting on our meeting today, which is Pat Rollins and Patty Johnson, they brought me their little dog, Mac, who was in trouble. And I didn't even have my furniture in. On my desk in my office hadn't even been built yet. And this little dog needed surgery. And Pat said, I need to stay with him. So they came into the clinic that night with their sleeping bags and slept on my carpeted floor in the office to stay with their dog that night, so that we could have surgery the next day. And I went home that night and I told Johnny that I'd left this client to stay overnight in the practice. And he had a fit. He says, you can't trust people to be in your practice overnight. I said, well, you haven't met her. So that was Pat, and she was probably one of the first clients in my practice. Thank you, Pat. So we raised cattle out at the farm, and initially what we used to do was I was a veterinarian for the Creswell auction for a couple of years, and I would have to sit there. I would go through and make sure the animals were healthy, and if they weren't, I would call the problem and I would mention it to the sale people, but I didn't trust them. So I would sit there through the whole auction to make sure they called out the health problem, particularly if it had anything to do with human health contagion. And so periodically we would get animals that came through that were very healthy, and we would purchase animals at a very low price. And that's how we started stocking our farm. So this is Curry, one of my Basenjis that I actually purchased. Curry was an obedience puppy. I took him all the way through to the Gaines competition, which was the pinnacle of obedience back in the day. There's my Brown Clinic. There's my Brown Clinic. So this picture is of Boone, who's in the background. Boone was our donor cat for many years. I don't know who the kitty is in the front. So one of my things that I would get up in the morning and I didn't like to eat breakfast. So I'd come into the clinic and then I would be hungry all day. And I remember talking to Jana one time and telling her that one of the things that I really would love to do is about 10 o'clock in the morning, have fruit and coffee and croissants and, you know, a nice breakfast, but oh well. So one year, on my birthday, I came in and Jana had assembled this incredible feast in the treatment room and invited a whole bunch of our clients, and we had my breakfast. I don't know if this was one of those days, but that reminds me of it. I think that's Ronnie. Ronnie, I think that's Ronnie on the right. That's Sherry Reyna, and that is Brenda Hansen. long, long time ago. Look at our colors, way back in the 60s. We started doing full dental care, including high-speed dental work early in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. And we talk a little bit more about that down the road. So these are just some photos that are going to take you through some of our early days. Jeff Busick, he was a wonderful young man who went on to go into sales in bicycles. There's Jana. Jana was one of my first receptionists, and I was so blessed to have Jana come on board when she did in 1990. This is Patty Worley. Patty came in and trained and went on to become a technician.
So I can clean the glass. It's
No,
really
don't worry
bad.
about it.
Pam's here. There's a Basinji. That's Libby. That's my Libby Basinji. Joanna Durgasitz with Libby and Patty Worley. This was my first CD in obedience with Curry in 1990. That's my $25 scrub sink. There's my husband, Johnny, with all of his repair work. And we had fun too. Although some people in the front row don't look too happy, we had a wonderful time. We dressed for Halloween. There's Dr. LeDuc in the middle and Stephanie Keenan up in the middle, second to the left. Jill Siegfried. There's Claire, second one in, and Laverne, and Leah Brown, and there's Ronnie and with her pig costume on. There's me and Jill Siegfried and Stephanie. There's we had a lot of fun. This is the diagram that Chuck will recognize. What I wanted to do was to make sure our clients were comfortable with the remodel. So we had this drawing to show what the footprint was of the original building and what the footprint would be like with the changes in the new building, and also what the situation on the lot would look like. So this was drawn up and posted in the waiting room for quite a long time so that our clients could ask questions and understand the reason and need for our expansion. So in 2000, we started the construction on the clinic, and this is what the building looked like after Johnny had stripped off the walkway and pulled off a building from the east and started setting things up for the remodel. And all during this time, we were open for business. This is Kurt Connell, Ronnie's husband, who was integral in helping Johnny build. Johnny did the entire construction of the new building, the addition, 4,100 square feet.
I think he still has that truck. What year? What year?
We started, I think Johnny should tell me, but his microphone's probably muted and I'm very bad with dates. But we finished the remodel on the outside in 2000, And we finished the remodel of the old part of the building in 2001. So our clinic was newly minted in 2001, which seems just like yesterday. But again, throughout this entire process, we were never closed. All of the functions in the old building, of course, were still there. We couldn't use the back door, so we had to carve a hole out into the backyard through a block wall. But once the building was up and running, then we wanted to remodel the old building, which required us to move all of the functions in the old building into the new building. So we continued with that endeavor until Johnny and Kurt remodeled the inside of the new building. And that was done in summer of 2001. We were very proud of our new building. We had an open floor plan where the clients and the staff could interact. We still had our original building for most of our inpatient work, and we recreated an entire new area in the building, which is this area here called our dental suite, which has 2 dental tables and full digital dental radiography and 2 anesthesia machines and 2 high-speed dental machines, plus all of the tools and equipment we needed to do wonderful work. Our retail area was wonderful because the staff no longer had to carry food from the back door through the treatment room and out through reception. Now they could just actually go right into the reception area and take the food or the diets that they needed. This is Pogo, who was one of my kitties that I couldn't keep because he peed all over Johnny's transcripts and his naturalization papers from Canada. So I had to rehome him, and thank heaven Marty and Jim Hurst took him in and had a wonderful, wonderful life with them for many years. So this is our staff room when we have meetings. We have meetings here since COVID, things are changed, but we had educational meetings once a month and we had regular staff meetings every week. And I believe that contributed immensely toward our cohesiveness, our teamwork, and our appreciation of the value of every person who has worked in this place. For those who know me, ears are one of my special areas of perfection. I always have to get those right. And this is Crystal. She's showing off some dental films. And she's doing a wonderful job on this little patient getting his teeth cleaned. One of the things that's advanced over the decades is our care of patients, especially when they're under anesthesia. Our commitment is to keep them warm and have all of their vital measurements taken all throughout the procedure, recorded and monitored and intercepted when needed, so they wake up very, very quickly and very, very comfortably without pain and safe and go home the very same day. And that is one of our points of pride in this practice. This is an ultrasonic scaler, which removes tartar without damaging the teeth. This is one of our educational sessions for our staff on how to brush teeth, because we figured if we didn't know how to brush teeth on our own pets, it was very, very difficult for us to explain the difficulties and show clients how to do that. And I think that was Jana's dog.
That was true.
That would be Melinda.
Mm-hmm.
Then we brought a lot of complementary care into our practice. This is Dr. Arpaia doing an activation manual therapy on a little dog. And then a big, big change came when we introduced laser therapy for our patients and staff. That's a beautiful picture.
Mm-hmm.
This is, yes, that was Dr. Fricke's patient, very likely receiving acupuncture. There's Debbie down in front, and she was our manager. Who's our manager here? There's Libby right in the middle. Libby's our manager here. And now our practice is managed by Alyssa, who's center in the back there. She's again, well, she's here too. Fourth from the left is Alyssa, and she's our manager now and is carrying on our traditions. Our team started getting awfully big and very hard to get into one photo. I haven't seen the picture they took this year, but I understand they took one with masks on. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but nobody gets colds anymore because we're taking care of being very, very responsible about our hygiene and masking and social distancing, and no one's getting winter colds anymore. Nobody's gotten the flu, and it's really interesting to see how we can impact just general health. This was at Ronnie's at the summer party one year after we both got sunburned. And this was a picture that Amy Willett took for us, for me. It's behind me as well. And this is 5 of my rescued. 2 of these are not rescue dogs. That's Curry and Libby, but the other 3 are rescue dogs. We rescued the Sinjis that need to be rehomed for one reason or another. And then one of my wonderful accomplishments, back in 2002, I was certificated as a pilot. And in 2006, I bought my own airplane, which was a high performance carbon fiberglass airplane, and flew it for 10 years. And thanks to Kurt
Daly.
I have a brain lapse.
Daly,
Kurt
yeah.
Daly at OVRA, who purchased my airplane, is still going strong. This is Mark Strobel, my instructor when I was getting my private pilot's license. And this is me taking possession of my new airplane. And there's Debbie. I took a trip down to see Debbie in California with my airplane. I just love to go on trips. And Johnny never did want to fly with me because he felt that it was too risky for us to both be in the airplane at the same time. How are we doing on numbers? Johnny and I spend a lot of time out on the quads, and our dogs go with us. This is just a picture of us out in the sunshine. These are some of our cows and calves up in the upper pasture. This was a few years ago. This is a rescue named Kenzie, and this is my wonderful Bengal cat who passed away this year at 19. This is my friend Mark McConnell. Mark is was the manager. We have a short history or segue here. In 1979, actually 1978, we established the emergency hospital, and 13 partners in Eugene came together to put together a hospital in Eugene, which went for several years. And if it weren't for the emergency clinic, I never could have established Mackenzie Animal Hospital, because at least when it came to be 6 o'clock at night, I could turn over the emergencies to the emergency clinic. And that went on for years. I was involved in that hospital as one of the directors for quite a while. And then we lost our lease in Eugene because the attorney failed to bring in the letter that intended to extend the lease in time. I think he was 6 days short, and the Datsun parking lot in Eugene said, nope, we want that land, you're out. So we had no place for the emergency hospital. And long story short, I found a piece of property. I got 3 of my fellow board members to go in with me on the building. We got a loan. We got Frank Blaine involved again, and we actually built the emergency clinic in Springfield. Mark was not a member then, but he shortly after then came on board, and he was about our second or third, I think he was our second manager. And Mark managed that hospital for 10 years and then came to me and said, I'm either going to buy the practice or I'm going to leave because I need to have my own practice. So he bought the practice from us. We worked together to sell it to him. And Mark then moved on. He became president of the American Animal Hospital Association while he was still managing the emergency clinic. And then he sold the emergency clinic and now is the chief medical officer for Lakeview, which is a corporate ownership of many emergency clinics throughout the United States. So we go way back with Mark. So in 2018, Scott Hendy and I, or actually in 2017, Scott Hendy and I were on a drive up to the feedlots in Eastern Oregon to see some cattle that he had on. And he showed me this brochure about a safari that was coming up in 2018 that was run by a veterinarian. And it was designed just for veterinarians and their spouses and limited to 12 people. And I couldn't resist, so off we went. And I joined that safari. It was 3 weeks long. It was the best trip we've ever taken. And Sandy and Scott, who are both on our program today, were happy to go there along with us. And I have a picture of Sandy in this very position with that lioness right behind her as a selfie. Is this a Christmas party? Mm-hmm. This would be one of our Christmas parties. Bruce took this picture. I got a new puppy in February last year. I'm holding him there. Another Basenji, he's a brindle. And this picture was taken in February, I think. Maybe March. And this is Cody, my new puppy, who's now just a little over a year of age. I think we're about done. Yeah, it's my puppy. Oh, this is taken just the other day. We go out on the quads and we're teaching these dogs to stick with us. So Cody's learning from Tuffy, and this is Ginger and Cody. Ginger's on my right, and Tuffy's on Cody's on my left. Oh, and we do get dirty once in a while, don't we, Crystal? That's Tuffy. This is the litter my puppy came from. He's the second from the left. It's hard to pick one out of that litter. They're all so cute. This is our bull, our herd bull, getting his vaccinations. This was a calf that was born in the spring. This is a set of twins. This cow had her first twin, her first calf, and then I could tell she was not comfortable. And we went in and palpated her, and that calf was coming backwards with only its tail out. It was the most difficult of all births. I could not retrieve the legs. I could not do anything. I was at my wit's end. Johnny pulled his shirt up, his sleeves up. He went in. This cow just stood there. She was the best cow in the world. And I think because of the size of his arm, it put enough stimulation in her to do one final push, and she pushed that little calf out backwards, and that little calf lived. And Bruce was there. Bruce took my pictures. We were very, very happy. When I work on my cows at home and then I come into the clinic, animals here are so much easier. They're so much easier to give injections to. It's just like, it's like a vacation compared to working on farm animals. This is my final appointment. Oh, wow. That's right. That was Pam's friend. So I was privileged to receive the Veterinarian of the Year award, I think in 2000. Yeah. And that was from the OVMA. Very, very proud of that. I also received another award a couple years later, and that was actually called President's Award, and that was because of all of my contributions to the Wild West Veterinary Conference. And then the OVMA surprised me in 2008 with a Meritorious Service Award. And the good news about that is that you get your dues paid. You don't have to pay your dues anymore. Anyway. This is Leon Peelstick, who was at that same meeting, and one of my good friends and a member of the exam board with me, who lives in Eastern Oregon. And this is my exam board. Hopefully done. We used to get pretty good coverage in the registered guard back before there were 50 clinics. And now, of course, the registered guard is pretty much gone. It's moved to Vancouver, is moving, but we used to get pretty good local coverage for that. Yay, it's over.
Okay.
Do you want to say something?
Yeah. So we're gonna switch over to some video messages that people created for Marty. We'll play those. If you'd like to say something, now would be a good time in the chat to put in that you would like to say something, and then we'll call on you guys as we work through them. So.
Well, so I would just like to thank Marty for all of the opportunities that you have given us. Sitting here and trying to think of specific things to talk about are really hard because there's so many things that you've done for the community and for our patients and our clients. All the opportunities that you have given to me and previous managers and previous employees that have worked for you. My family's history goes back with you almost 30 years or more. When I got this job here at McKenzie, my family heard that you were going to be my boss, and they were all so excited, not so much because of what I was doing, but more because I was working with you, and they knew that I was going to learn so much from you. Stay safe. I just want to thank you for everything that you've done for the hospital and for everybody that is working here and still works here.
Thanks, Alyssa. Thank you, Alyssa. Oh.
Marty, I want to say congratulations on your retirement, and I'm going to miss you very much. Working with you has been truly amazing and inspiring. I'm only where I am today because of you, first and foremost, and the amount of time you've taken to train me and work with me and instill your knowledge on me. So I appreciate you more than you could ever know. Regardless of you retiring, you're never going to get rid of me because I'm going to be attached to your place and your cattle until you decide not to do them anymore. So you're stuck with me regardless. I want to say one thing I'm going to miss about you is whooping some of our employees' butts into shape and making sure they know how to do their job, and just your confidence with clients and your ability to do such good medical care. You're an amazing doctor and an amazing woman, and this practice wouldn't have been anything without you, and it's not going to be the same without you here in the long run. I will always love you and think of you as one hell of a doctor, and I appreciate you. So thank you for everything you've done over the course of your years in this field.
That's very sweet. Thank you, Crystal.
Hi, Dr. DeWees. You so deserve this retirement. We're all going to miss you. Please don't forget where we are, and totally enjoy your next step in life. Bye.
Thank you, Pam. Very good. That's great. All right.
Hey Marty, I just want to tell you thank you from the bottom of my heart for creating such an amazing environment for all your employees, your dedication to learning, your dedication to detail, your dedication to doing it right for pets and their people is truly amazing, and I can't tell you how much I've appreciated working with you all these years. I love you, I miss you, and I wish you the very, very best in your pie endeavors and everything else that you do in the future. I love you.
Thank you, Ronnie. He looks great. The dogs help get us through this, don't they?
Hey Marty, it's Libby. Hi, I just wanted to say thank you for all you've done for me over the years, the support you've given me, and just believing in me. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you and your coaching and you just constantly pushing me to be better. For all the honest feedback that you gave me, which was sometimes painful but important, and I heard you, and I would have never thought that I would be in the role that I am today, 10 years ago. So thank you for all you've done, and for believing in me, and you have been such an important part of my life and my family's life. And I just wish you a peaceful retirement. The industry is going to miss you. Maybe not the drug reps, but the rest of us definitely will. So enjoy this time on the farm, enjoy relaxing. I hope you can get back to a place where you're traveling, and just know that you made a difference in a lot of people's lives. Thank you.
Very nice, thank you.
This is Deborah Newman, and I was honored and blessed to be a practice manager for McKinsey Animal Hospital. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It was the quality of the practice and the quality of the practitioner that were so very, very special. And also, Dr. DeWees and I were both perfectionists. And I remember a huge whiteboard in her office. And when I came there, we filled it from top to bottom with very small print of all the things that Marty wanted to do. And I remember that just a day or two before I left, we took that last line off of the whiteboard. And it was so satisfying to me. And it was just an absolutely amazing time at McKinsey Animal Hospital that I will never forget. So thank you. Thanks, Marty.
Thank you, Deborah.
We have one video that I think we got to play right now. So,
hi Marty, it's Patty. And you know who this is. She insists on wearing a mask, even though mostly we're about 6 feet apart. Oh, hey, Dr. Marty. Man, almost 5 decades of your dedication and your expertise in treating animals that so deserve you, and also, influencing those pet owners. And I can truthfully say for Patty and I, you taught us how to be much better pet owners than we would have probably been, even though we always loved our fur babies. Sometimes just being a good pet owner takes some education, and you did that for us, and so we'll always be grateful. And I have my kitty earrings on right now. I don't know if you can see them, but I'll tell a quick story here. When you were taking care of Mac and treating him, our little toy poodle, I got a call from you one day, and you said, I have this beautiful calico kitty, and she's got, I think, 6 or 8 toes, and she needs a home, and she is a wonderful kitty, and she's beautiful. And I said, oh, Dr. Marty, I'm not sure. I'm not much of a cat person. You know, we got Mac, and he's got these issues, and she said, have Patty call me, okay? Well, needless to say, by that evening, we had a beautiful kitty Her name, we named her Mackenzie after the clinic, and we called her Kinsey for short. And she was a fabulous, wonderful kitty. And since the time that she came to grace us with her presence, we've had many more kitties. And so I'm a kitty lover, as well as dogs, and now we have bees in our life, and Patty's a beekeeper.
I love the bees, and I just wanted to add to Pat's story. Not only are you good with the animals, you're so good with your clients, the animal owners, and in being able to read them and understand what they need and how much you could tell them and make them understand what you were trying to convey about the treatment or whatever. You were a very good educator.
Excellent educator. And so, you know, I don't know if you're gonna, when you retire, do any on-call work out of the area, but if the bees need inoculations, you know, maybe their yearly virus shot like COVID-19 or something, will you be available? So, you know, if you want to do that, I mean, just let us know. Well, Marty and John, you folks are special, and we wish you the very best in retirement. I'm sure John's going to find some old barns that he's going to check out, and we just hope that you find just all the wonderful things to do that are important to you, and you find purpose, and know that you will always be special in our life and in the lives of the animals that you treated.
And just enjoy your time. And you know, we've been retired for a while and love it. We always have something to do, always have found something to kind of, I don't know, just help us, our souls and our happiness, and it's great.
And we always say every night's Friday and every day's Saturday when you're retired. So you guys take care, and again, thanks for all you've meant to us, and we hope along the way we've given you a few laughs. So take care, Marty, and we wish you the very best.
Bye.
Hi, Marty. Congratulations on your retirement. I am so excited for you. I can't even begin to tell you all the things I'm appreciative of. I think about when you graduated from college and started your practice, all the things that you thought you might want to do and accomplish. And then I think about all the things now on your retirement that you want to do and accomplish. They're kind of a little bit of the same. I think you were the best thing to happen to veterinary medicine. In our private practice, you supported and elevated everything to the best possible level in patient care and also in employee care. You were always a champion for more learning, more elevating, and supporting people even if they chose to go into a different career, and that is so commendable. You gave them a safe environment to expand on what they loved. I can't, again, even think of all the things that I've learned through you. I so miss you. I sat with you in the same office for 30 years, discussing things, going over things, trying to make things better, and I miss that camaraderie, and I will truly miss not seeing you on a daily basis. Again, congratulations. I wish you the best.
Let's remember the chat. Okay. Sorry, I'm having a Macintosh lesson here. As I said, if anybody wants to say anything, feel free to unmute themselves right now. I do have a couple messages to read also.
Hey, Marty. This is Mark McConnell.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Marty. I just wanted to say in front of everybody, I am so grateful to you, and not only for all the work that you have done for veterinary medicine and for helping all the pets and for helping all the clients, but you have been instrumental in mentoring so many veterinarians and veterinary technicians that it is amazing. I credit a lot of my personal and professional success to you. I started at the Emergency Veterinary Hospital in 1993 as a staff veterinarian, and within a year I became chief of staff and then financial manager. And then I had to meet Marty DeWees, and she scared the hell out of me. Because you set these expectations and you set these stretch goals, both personal and kind of professional stretch goals. And I remember you telling me that you wanted, the hospital to make X amount of money and X amount of profit. And I remember I worked really, really hard to always hit those numbers because I really didn't want to have those conversations with you as to why I didn't make those numbers. So, and you do, one of the things that you really taught me as well is that there's more to being a veterinarian than actually clinical work. And you taught me that giving back to the profession is vital and so important, and that you, it makes you a better veterinarian by giving back to the profession. And so I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you for, on behalf of all the veterinarians and the veterinary technicians that you have had an influence on, thank you. And thank you for making all of us better versions of ourselves. So thank you, Marty. You're amazing.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark.
Hey, Dr.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, hey, it's Joel Partlow. Number one, thank you for inviting me to this. And number two, thank you for welcoming me to Oregon, geez, back in 2005 when I moved out here from Michigan, and how nice and everybody was at the clinic when I visited on my calls and stuff. So that's just wanted to be real quick and say thank you. Nice seeing you.
Thank you, Joel.
And good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, I'm going to read one, and then if anybody wants to speak up again, feel free to unmute yourself. This is from Jack Keating, who was a classmate of Marty's in vet school. I'm so sorry I will not be able to attend the party, but please tell Marty I wish her all the best in retirement. We were and are great friends, and I am so sorry to miss the fun, but let her know I was thinking of her.
So I want to give a side if we have a minute for that. And that is that when I was in veterinary school, I was privileged to be part of a cardiac research team. And Jack was on my team. And we once a week would go down to Ingham Medical. We were apparently part of a group that was converting Ingham Medical into a world-class cardiac hospital, which we didn't realize at the time. And Jack and I were on the team that we always had this competition. We would have two students doing the chest work and two on the back legs harvesting the veins. And where our job was to get the animal, the big 50-pound dog, on a heart-lung machine before the MD came down to do the procedure. And Jack and I were the team that made the first time we got on the heart-lung machine before the MD doctor came into our lab to take over.
Hi, anybody else say something?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Tim Reed. I'm one of Marty's cousins, and I just want to say how proud the family is of Marty and her accomplishments. She, as she's implied in her presentation, she comes from a string of very strong women who managed to forge paths that were more difficult, perhaps because they were women. And she has had a remarkable career, as we all seen from the video. And it's just remarkable. used to visit her down on the farm, and what she did not share with you, she was a member of 4-H, and they had a real problem in the household of where to put all the blue ribbons, best of show, and other awards that she won with her sister when they were competing in 4-H. And I was fascinated by the whole process and really enjoyed my times being down there on the farm. And I'm just so frustrated and disappointed. I would have loved to have seen this ceremony be a gathering of people that were able to touch, hug, feel, and see each other in person. I would have been so happy to have flown out there, an excuse to visit beautiful Oregon, of course. And, you know, I hope, I mean, this has been a wonderful presentation, and I hope that everybody has a chance to see Marty eventually in person to do these congratulations, as I will in the future. So Marty, it's been wonderful, love you, and the family is very proud of you.
Thank you, Tim.
I just would like to ask Dr. Marty, I could never understand why you could not be my doctor, that you could not be my primary care. You were so darn good. I watched you with the animals, and I watched you with how you treated us as clients. And I always wanted you as my doctor because I thought you were so smart. I had so much trust. So if you ever decide to come to the Oregon coast and, kind of kick in another practice, we'll be here.
So I'm Johnny's doctor, but he doesn't listen.
Great. Yeah, I'd like to say hello. I'd like to say hello to Marty. This is Scott Hindy. We met over the Continuing Education Committee in the OVMA years ago. Spent a lot of years working together, going through Wild West. Our son's first 4-H breeding project was a heifer we got from Marty's farm. So it's been a long friendship, and I really appreciate all the work she's done for veterinary medicine.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Marty, this is Dee. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, Dee.
Oh, excellent. I just want to wish you the best in your retirement. I think you're going to enjoy it very, very much. I certainly enjoyed my retirement after working so many years in the veterinary field, and I thank you so much for all that you taught me and shared with me, and also shared your dear friendship with me over the years. We've done a lot together. I think we started in '78 together.
I think we did. I think we did too, Dee. And I think that you taught me as much as I taught you.
Oh, we had a lot of fun in those days. Didn't have quite the staff you have now when you're I think about 4 or 5 of us.
You did everything.
Well, and I appreciate Johnny's talents too. He taught me a lot about building and construction, and it was great over the years. And you made me what I am now in the veterinary field, and I had a wonderful career, and I'm hoping you enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you, Dee.
Marty.
Oh, Marie.
Yes. I didn't want to say anything because you know how sappy I am, but I wanted to say what an impression you've made on me over the 25 years that I've been there. But the one thing I did not get to see was any of your beautiful pies that we were always so fortunate to get the extras of. And I'm hoping that will not change with your retirement.
Okay, thank you. I got the order.
Okay, love you, dear.
Hey, Marty,
this is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
This is Jim and Marty Hurst. We just
Okay.
wanted to say a couple words to Marty that we wanted to thank her for all the wonderful care she's given our cats over the years. We've had 5 of them with her. One of them being Pogo, which was our blessed cat. And, Marty's been around since the early 70s with her, and me shortly thereafter. So we've known her for quite a while. It was a wonderful experience growing up around her, and especially with our cats. She took wonderful care of them. We just wanted to wish you good luck and hope you have a lot of fun in your retirement. Marty wants to relate a story she had with Dr. DeWees some years ago. Go ahead.
Marty DeWees, a long time ago, I had a cat named Persia, and he was having a medical issue, and he was at your clinic, and he was having to stay there overnight on Thanksgiving. And this was before I'd met Jim, and you offered to allow me to come visit Pogo, or to visit Persia on Thanksgiving Day. And I did, and I will never forget that. Persia was 18 years old, and it was a very special visit with him. He did recover, and he did come back home, but I will just never forget that, that you allowed me to come visit him on a holiday, on Thanksgiving. So
Thank you, sweetie.
just want to mention that. That was a very special time. We love you. We are grateful for Pogo. And now we have Harley. And again, another special cat that we love.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both.
We love you, Marty. We love you.
So Marty, this is Martha Pitts. Tracy and I are out with our new puppy Maggie, training her this afternoon. And we just wanted to say thank you so much for all that you've done with us and with our dogs over the years. I moved here in 1987. Maggie's learning to not react to other dogs right now. But we came here in 1987, and I lived in the far west side of Eugene. And I asked somebody, who should I go see as a vet? And they said, go see Marty DeWees. This is where she is. And I was like, well, that's like a 30-minute drive all the way over in Springfield. And they're like, it's worth it. And we've been making that drive pretty regularly for a little over 30 years. And the best decision that we've ever made. And I also wanted just to say, thank you so much. You talked about your philosophy and being reflected in your staff. And over the last couple of years, as we've been through some really tough times with our dogs, we so appreciated the philosophy that you have brought and how that's reflected in working with Matt Fricke and with Dr. Arpaio, and their kindness to the dogs and their willingness to try new things and do some new things with us and with our dogs that have made a real difference in their health. And Pat summarized it well when she said, you've made us better pet owners and better people with our pets. And so just really want to thank you, and thank you for inviting us to be a part of this today. It's been really meaningful for us.
Thank you so much. That's very nice.
Yeah, hello, this is Bruce Trafton.
Hi, Bruce.
And yeah, I just want to say something. This is brand new for me, this Zooming business. But Marty, I want you to know that I've had the privilege of knowing you for over 25 years. You know, the knowledge I've gained from you is incredible, including a range of subjects, all the way from the loving knowledge and care and empathy of raising cows, dogs, and cats. You know, your gardening expertise, and most of all, showing me how to make an award-winning apple pie crust. I'm so impressed on your continuing search for more knowledge, even as you're opening up a new chapter in your life. So in closing, I salute you, Marty, for all you've accomplished in life and what you've shown me over the last 25 years.
Thank you,
I
Bruce.
consider you one of my best friends. Love, Bruce Trafton.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Sparky.
He's right here.
I do want to be a little respectful. We've gone a little over with time, and we'll hang around so people still want to say something that they can. We do want to let everybody know that we did go ahead and purchase a bench to honor you. It'll be placed out in the yard here at the hospital, in addition to a plaque that goes with it. But it's a theme that we keep hearing over and over again about how much you've given to the industry and to all of us. And for me, I felt like I was the most important person in your world because of how much you have given to me. But I look at this and we have 3 pages of pictures here of people that, I was just a blip in your journey. And, but you've just done so much to everybody here, or for everybody here. And so we really, really appreciate that. And you've taught us all how to really work. And you've taught us there's only one way to do things, and that's the right way. I'll tell a quick story and then we can start to sign off.
Tara's laughing.
We were at Wild West Veterinary Conference, and we were out for breakfast one morning, and the waitress came up and she said she took our orders and asked Dr. DeWees what she wanted, and so she said, "Well, I'd like bacon. Do you know how to cook bacon?" And the waitress said, "Yes," and she said, "Well, there's only one way to cook bacon. That's the right way. Do you cook it the right way?" And so waitress said, "Yeah, I think so." So she brought us bacon. We had our breakfast. She ate the bacon. But then I asked her, I said, "How was the bacon? Did they cook it the right way?" And she said, "No."
I don't remember that.
So everybody, thank you so much for coming today. This means a lot to me, and you're so special to all of us. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone, so much. I wish I could hug you all. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
Did I hit the right button?
You did.
This is Sherry Monson.
Let me show this to him. So I have one more story.
Okay.
We'll come back to you, Sherry.
We can't see Marty. He's covered it. Okay, that's right.
You can leave mine.
Okay. So we have a family friend from Massachusetts whose name is Lou Eilert, and she is 90 years old yesterday. And she told me she couldn't do the Zoom because it was too complicated. So she sent me this beautiful bouquet of roses. There's 59 red roses here for the 59 years that we've known Lou. And she sent me a wonderful, wonderful card. And she didn't even tell me it was her birthday. She's just amazing. So I'm going to spread these roses around to my lovely staff here as well today. Thanks.
Okay, Sherry wants to say something.
Sherry, you're up.
Okay, did I hit the right button again?
There she is.
So first of all, I've known you and Marie since your hair was dark. And
oh my.
Just a funny side note, I have known you at the time. I think I worked at Weyerhaeuser with Pat Rollins and Patty Johnson, and Patty was my boss and she was about 20 years old. So that's just a funny side note. And then Dr. Fricke came and he was about 16 with long curly hair. I remember that. But, a couple of things previous people have said, you're like an encyclopedia. And I've always appreciated your kindness and caring. When you would be explaining things to me, we've gone through, I think, 5 labs and 9 cats. That's how long I've known you. But when you would be explaining things to me and my eyes would glaze over, you were kind enough to stop and patient enough to, explain it until I knew what you were talking about. And just our beloved Tuco's buried up there on your property. And another thing that somebody said before, that they were afraid of you. I can't remember who the gentleman was, but I was afraid of Marie, but I wasn't afraid of you. I'm just kidding, Marie. I love you. But anyway, just thank you for all going above and beyond, and just your staff. You guys are so amazing. And there's Mark just walked in.
Hey, Mark.
He's right there.
Hey, congratulations.
You gotta get in the picture, buddy.
Well, you can hear my voice. Thank you so much for all you've done for us. I mean, I'm glad I made it back. So
Thanks, Mark.
enjoy your retirement and good luck with everything. It was just such a pleasure having, well, what else can I say? You just enjoy your retirement.
Oh, and the other thing is, Pat Rollins, I said the same thing to Dr. DeWees about if I had a medical doctor as good as my vet, I'd be really happy. And I finally did get one, but you're the one that told me to take Cosequin, and I still do to this day. So thank you also for your medical advice for us personally. And I already miss you. I miss you guys, all of you down there. It's nice to see faces without masks on, and we love you and congratulations, and I'll see you at Starbucks.
See you at Starbucks. Thanks, Sherry.
Hi, Marty. This is Michelle, and I just wanted to say thank you for having faith in me when it came down to the little kitten Hope that you called me about. And thank you for getting me started in doing rescue work.
Thank you, Michelle. He wouldn't have made it without you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and sign off here. Yep.
Thank you, Libby.
Dr.
You're welcome.
Johnny.
Happy retirement.